What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Quest Heroes! Alright, so we have one more Defend the Generator mission, which is pretty straightforward, same as the last one. But things are going... Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the Let's Play up until this point, because things are going to get a lot more exciting after this video. So, we're going to be getting some new characters in this video, and things are going to change drastically. So, hopefully it's been pretty easy to follow so far. I know that I feel like I've barely been able to keep up with the pace of the game. Here's a little explanation of what I was saying in the last video about the different types of monster minions. So the gold are the sentry and the silver are the savior. And as the tutorial will explain to us here, the sentries are ones that go out and fight to their best of their abilities until they're defeated. And you can sort of leave them to defend objectives and things like that. They're overall really useful. And then the savior ones, you deploy them and they will cast a spell or a particular ability, which is really nice in certain instances, especially if you need a sudden heal or if you need a really powerful AoE attack. They can be really good for that. So I'm going to be using Lucius for a minute here to show off. I showed off Zap briefly there, and as I said before, in Zap's later, like Zapple and Kazap or whatever it is that we unlock, we'll have to hold down the casting button in order to let it charge up to the next stage, otherwise it'll still cast the level 1 version of the spell. So I think we got, I think I covered the equipment we got in the previous video. I know that we got the Silver Rapier, and we got a new weapon for King Doric there, which is much needed. Yeah, so we got the Barbed Bludgeon for King Doric, which now gives him a whopping 73 attack power, which is really powerful at this point. So he's going to be quite the house, although for what it's worth, because we don't really intend to use him that much longer, if we can help it. I'll try not to use... really, I don't care for... I mean, King Doric can be pretty powerful, but I really don't care for him compared to some of the other characters in the game. He just doesn't have the versatility. So, I'm going to be putting him off to the wayside pretty soon after this. I just want him to be able to keep up with the other characters. Now, like I said, Isla, as much as I don't like her in terms of gameplay, I'm going to have to keep up with her because she's required for a story mission way later in the game.
Well, maybe not.
These violent vibrations, these thundering footfalls, they can mean only one thing. An enemy of enormous proportions. To be more precise, a blue, one-eyed giant with a single horn atop his bulbous head.
Oh, you don't mean it. Gigantes!
Oh, joy.
Please, it is too much perilous.
Kiryl, a load off your shoulders if you please! Be gone with you!
Wow, holy crap.
Yo! Did you witness my prowess?
Tsarevna, why always do you place yourself in such peril? Behold, now he is perusing our direction.
And what if he is? I will extinguish such a lumbering thunderhead with ease.
Tsarevna, please to desist with these needless braveries. This, as you see, is a Gigantes, and one of many 100 times your scale.
He is merely obese. Besides, do you mean to inform your Tsarevna that you are without belief in her?
But of course, no, Tsarevna. I have admired, I mean, of course, witnessed at first hand many times your...
Hello. We were actually about to try and take that thing down ourselves.
You too wish to belabor the fat imbecile? Then let us set about him together. Tsarevna Alena, at your service. Now inward to combat! Should we delay or tarry, the town will surely be pummeled entirely to smithereens.
Tsarevna, please to exhibit less reckless haste. To rush blindly inward is excessive folly.
She's amazing. She just jumped straight on in there like it was nothing. Well, I'm no shrinking violet myself. Inward to combat. Stay here if you want. I'm going with her.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Kiryl, was it? You have my sympathies. Suffice it to say, I know how you feel.
Yes, the men are being dragged around by the ladies in this game, so... Alright, we are now going to have a boss battle against the Gigantes, which is a huge lumbering enemy, and it has a absolutely massive health bar that we can barely land a dent in with our normal physical attacks. So thankfully we have the spellcasters that Isla has placed throughout the map, the ballistas that can be used to significantly damage this thing and make it vulnerable. So we're going to be taking advantage of those immediately. A successful fight against this thing versus a non-successful fight against this thing is pretty much determined on how quickly and efficiently you can use the ballistas. So I went for it immediately there at the beginning and dealt some decent damage to it. You can see our normal physical attacks do like, what, 10, 20, 30 damage, something like that. And you can see King Doric is dealing quite a bit of damage there with his physical... Whoa! Speaking of physical attacks, he just got kicked halfway across the map, so... I'm gonna dump some of my special abilities out on this guy until we can manage to recharge the spellcaster there. Of course, there is another one on the opposite side of the courtyard, so I really just need to get over there and use it. But the Gigantes is taking a decent amount of damage already so far. But if he takes a certain amount of damage, he's supposed to go critical, essentially, to where, well, he'll become staggered, where you can deal more damage to him. So his weak point is his head, of course. So if we shoot him in the head with the spellcaster, it'll deal maximum damage. So we want to see about 12 to 1300 damage, ideally. 1100, that's okay. So if it's like 700-800 damage like that, we know we missed his head. So we gotta try to aim more carefully. And now, as you can see, that we've hit him in the head a certain amount of times, he's staggered. So now he'll be much more susceptible to our regular physical attacks. If I can get a Giga Slash in on him while he is staggered, that would be great. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off, but we'll go ahead and use it nonetheless. So let's talk about our two new characters. So I'm so excited to really introduce these guys. We have Alena and Kiryl from Dragon Quest IV. One of my favorite games in the series, if not my most favorite game in the series. And I'll be talking about their specific plot and character relevance later on. That was only about 300 damage. That's not nearly what I'm looking for. So, unfortunately, after the Gigantes gets past a certain point in the map, he will destroy these archways, and eventually he'll get to the generator and destroy it. So really, it's a fight against the clock to defeat him before he gets the objective. So, luckily though, we have spellcasters all over the place we can use. This fight went a lot better than it did my previous run through the game. Not that I failed or anything, it's just he got really close to the end, and now he's about half health, and we're still pretty close to the beginning here, so... yeah, now that he's weak, I'll just go ahead and go all out against him. I need to go in and go to that other spellcaster on the other side here, because it's within range of him right now. He's going to bring in a Maw Keeper to bring in a Night Maw, the portals that bring in enemies. So we definitely want to get rid of that so we can presume fighting him normally. We don't want those other enemies to take advantage of us. So right now you may notice we only have 3 slots for monsters, and depending on what type of monster it is will determine how many slots it occupies. So sometimes larger monsters we cannot pick up their tokens if we don't have enough space. So we need to make sure that if we don't pick up too many sentries, if we want to pick up a large enemy. Oh look, this one's almost recharged. We can just go straight back to this other one. And we should be able to still hit. If we have good crackerjack timing here and some good aim, we should still be able to hit the Gigantes with this one, even though he's getting slowly further and further away from our line of sight. Oh yeah, we got this. Check this out. Nice, 1200 damage all the way from over here. Not bad. I'll take the free damage, and it's honestly the best damage we can get against him. So right now we do not have control over Alena and Kiryl. I'll talk about them probably more so in the next video, because we'll actually get to play as them, and that's really what's going to count. So we're going to go ahead and use our Royal Wrath spell as King Doric, which has a rain of meteors that rains down on our enemies, which is pretty powerful, to say the least. It consumes a lot of MP to cast, and like I said, because I'm not going to be using King Doric as much later in the game, it's not going to be seen all that often, but King Doric is pretty much just good at being a bruiser, and that's about it. His His coup de grace on his high tension, though, is essentially it's a series of multiple small hits rather than a single large hit. Ooh, we dealt 200 damage there with our charged Blizzard Slash, so maybe if we unleash a coup de grace on him now while he's staggered, we'll be able to finish him off. Well, I can't guarantee it. I might as well have a battle of attrition, and then when he gets to be the end of our tension gauge, we'll just do what kind of damage we can to him. Another 300. It's okay. He's staggered again, though, so that's really good. We might be able to finish him off right here and now. In fact, I think we will. One of the challenging things about this fight is not having any way to heal your party members. So you do kind of have to watch yourself or scavenge for healing items, although, again, he's not really concerned with you guys. He's more so concerned with the objective. Careful there, Isla. You almost got crushed. And like all good boss fights, he dissolves.
Phew! We did it!
Alright, so later on here, I'll be showing this again in the next video, but you can actually replay that boss fight at any time you want to practice or to get experience or even some items from fighting him again. But yeah, that was quite a lot of fun. Now to introduce our new characters some more.
So, you said you were from somewhere called Zamoxva.
Indeed, yes.
I see. The thing is, there's no such place. Not in our world, at any rate.
You mean, could we have become somehow displaced from our own world to another?
Don't whimper so babyishly, Kiryl. The thief we seek is present here. Whether it is our own world or no, this is where we must remain.
But if you were to become harmed in such a place, I would, your revered
Disregard
father
his
would-
babblings. These monsters, you say they were not always so much crazed, yes?
Until not so long ago, the monsters and us were the best of friends. And then they just turned on us all of a sudden. And not just here, the capital where we live was overrun too.
Having managed to avert a crisis there, we came here, only to find the same sorry state of affairs. It seems safe to surmise that all the monsters in our world have been affected.
And why in heaven are we standing around pontificating? We must make haste and save my loyal subjects!
Right.
Kiryl, what say you that we accompany these fine heroes on their noble quest?
Zarevna, we...
Indeed, we must! We must! In accompanying with our new friends to all the places of this world, we are sure to eventually locate our thief.
Oh, God. And just as I had at last become alone with her.
Excellent, excellent! With such stout-hearted companions beside us, our doughty band shall be all the stronger!
Truly? You truly wish it so?
This chamber, roiling and rattling. What can this signify?
Seems she's ready for the off, Your Majesty.
So the time has come at last to taste the fruit of your long years of labor, huh?
Aye, that it has.
What devilry is this?
Time to fly, my beautiful stone cloud. Full steam ahead.
captain.